Oh boy, this guy is, well, he's a piece of work. Have you ever met those people that make so much money that they think they're better than you simply by the merit of them making money? As if somehow making money simply makes you a better person? No? Well, let me introduce you to this guy. This is Damian. Damian is a 19-year-old millionaire. Damian offers get-rich-quick schemes in the form of mentoring. Damian wants you to take a simple two-step process to join his pseudo-cult, and Damian's arguments are shit. Let's go ahead and roll that intro.
What's up, Twitter? Damian Prosalandis here with Lucille, and we have a message for all of you who like video games and anime.
Oh, is that so? I mean, I like both of those things. I think video games are a great way to unwind, they're an awesome way to spend time with friends, meet new people thanks to the advent of online communities, and anime is no different than any other TV show, just drawn as opposed to live action. There are compelling stories, amazing character arcs.
And it's not what you think.
Oh? Ow! Okay, dude, seriously, if you're a millionaire, then you'd think you might be able to hire a professional editor to actually be able to teach you how to sound mix properly. Unless you didn't sound mix this and you hired an editor that just doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I'll give you guys a warning, it's even louder in the original video. Anyway, we'll skip ahead now that my ears are bleeding.
So in the past few days, 2 days, you've been seeing me like bashing all those people who play video games and saying that they're losers and saying that they've got pathetic lives. And many of you missed the point in that.
Oh? Because last time I checked, whenever you tell somebody that they're pathetic and leave pathetic lives simply because of a hobby, it's usually the person making those stupid claims that's missing the point. But please, teach me, oh wise one of the internet.
And there is like a storm of people in the comments trying to prove how I'm wrong for saying that.
Yeah, generally speaking, when you say something stupid on the internet.
And I get you, I see why that's your reaction. I'm gonna tell you in a second why, because you may not even know why. You're not listening to what I'm saying to you. Some people retweeted my tweets that said, playing video games, if you play video games, you're a loser. If you watch anime, you're a loser. And we're like, okay, I'm very successful, I'm a millionaire, I make a lot of money, am I a loser? I'm like, no, motherfucker, you're not.
Okay, so that sentence was a little malformed, but I'm thinking that what you meant was that the person you're talking to said that they are a millionaire and they're asking if they're a loser because they play video games. And you're right, no, they're not a loser because they play video games.
But the reason you're successful, in all those ways you are successful, is not because you're playing video games. You are successful and wealthy despite playing video games or watching anime.
You do realize you're saying that on YouTube, right? You know, the platform that people make their living off of by playing and critiquing video games and watching and critiquing anime. Right? You know, those are things that people legitimately make their careers out of. If you don't think that that's true, then I'd like to point you to the Game Grumps and Glass Reflection. Now, I'm not personally a fan of Game Grumps. I'm not a fan of Let's Plays in general, but I do know that they have their audience. And that audience has managed to keep Egoraptor and co. well-fed and famous. As for Glass Reflection, his is a channel that I do like watching because I like seeing reviews of anime before I sit down and invest time into it. These are two people that have built their careers around these things. These are not people who are famous despite their hobbies. They are famous because of their hobbies. They have careers because of their hobbies. I had mentioned on Friday's video that if you have a dream, the only thing between you and that dream is how to monetize it. Also, can I just point out that you're holding a baseball bat from the Walking Dead series, a series that started out as a comic with heavy anime inspirations. In fact, Michonne, one of the most popular characters in that show, wouldn't exist if it worked for anime. I guess that means that you're a loser. Oh, wait, no, sorry. You're rich and successful despite the things you do that make you a loser. Sorry, I forgot for a second that that was your argument.
Are there massively successful people or massively intelligent people that play video games or watch anime? Of course there are. They're a minority, but there are. Are there successful people, successful video games player who turn that hobby, that activity in a career? Hell yeah, there are. But what does that even matter?
Well, it certainly matters since it undermines your entire argument. The fact that these people exist, and they don't just exist as a microcosm, undermines your entire argument. So you can't just dismiss it by saying, why does it even matter? That's like pulling a Ken Ham and just dismissing the best evidence against your argument because it is the best evidence against your argument. The Earth isn't 6,000 years old, and you certainly aren't making a cogent point.
What does it even matter? Let's exclude for a minute those people who are making a lot of money, that bullshit they call esports, because that's not even sports, but that's another discussion for another time.
Actually, no. Esports is sports. It's just exercising your mind more so than your body. Not to mention, most people who compete in esports actually have to exercise their bodies as well, because for your mind to operate at peak efficiency, there is a certain level of exercise that your body has to go through as well. But again, these are people that have careers, sometimes careers giving them millions of dollars, because of video games, not in spite of video games. You can't just dismiss things that completely contradict your argument because they contradict your argument. That would be like Kent Hovind hopping up on the young Earth creationists' podium and saying, well, if we just ignore tectonic shifts, then obviously the only option for shells to get on top of the mountains would be water. I wouldn't let him get away with that, and I wouldn't let you get away with this either.
Let's forget that for a second. Forget those people. Everyone else who plays video games, the only thing they get from that is entertainment, killing time, and they're legitimately getting good at something that's not benefiting their lives.
So let's say that I aspired to be a video game designer. I would have to play a lot of video games to understand the variables involved in creating a video game. In order to properly create a video game, or even critique one, I might have to go play the best examples of that genre of game over the course of history in order to understand what I'm going to be designing or critiquing better. If I want to do a critique on the history of, or I want to design a new first-person shooter, it would behoove me to go back and play the original Doom, and then play GoldenEye to see how it evolved, and then play Halo to see how it evolved from there, and then maybe pick up a modern Call of Duty to see where the genre has evolved since then. I would be getting better at playing these games, and I would also understand the history of the development of these games. This is ignoring the other benefits that you get from playing a video game. In the modern era, we have online games, and through these, we can meet people that we otherwise wouldn't have. Hell, the guy who designed my banner on my channel was a friend that I met through a VR chat, a free video game on Steam. The inspiration from my character came from Thrall from the Warcraft series. The avatar that you guys see in front of you right now wouldn't exist if it weren't for video games. Not to mention, there's also studies that show that mechanical skill and hand-eye coordination are also increased by playing video games. There are people who are completely chair-bound because of some accident or some birth defect, but as soon as they hop into a video game, they suddenly have an avenue for socializing with people that they didn't have before, and the limiting factors that bind them to a chair no longer apply. This ends up being a wonderful way to stave off depression, and in some cases can even save a life. This is coming from somebody who is an attempted suicide survivor. If it weren't for League of Legends, I wouldn't have had the ability to socialize with people that I needed to get myself through one of the worst situations in my life. But it's okay, I guess we can just ignore all of that, right?
Now, my point is, if you're massively successful, if you're rich, if you're wealthy, if you're intelligent, if you're highly accomplished, and besides that, you allocate some time during your day because you fucking like playing video games or watching anime or watching TV or doing whatever the hell you want to do, then, well, do that. But if you spend half your day in front of a computer playing video games and kicking ass and taking names in a virtual world and achieving things in a fake reality, if you do that, then you don't get to complain about anything in your life. If you have anything in your life worth complaining for, and you still play video games, yes, you are a fucking loser.
So if everything in your life isn't perfect, and you sit down to read a book, and you read for 8 to 10 hours a day, then you're a loser. Would the argument work as well for a book? If no, then we have a situation where you're special pleading, and if you think the argument works just as well for reading, then you're wrong. That said, everybody has to allocate time to do anything, and if all that person wants to do is come home from work and play video games, and then go back to work, and then come home from work and play more video games, so what? It's their life, not yours. Not every everybody's aspiring to be a successful millionaire. Some people just want to make enough to get by and then do what makes them happy, like playing video games. But it's okay, you're sitting here making this video, and that makes you a loser because you're spending time doing this when you could be trying to become a billionaire. If you're not a billionaire, you're a loser. Or does that line of argumentation not work on you simply by merit of you being, well, you?
You're a fucking loser, an idiot, and a moron. And
Whoa, hold on. There's a huge difference between saying somebody's a loser, which is something that you can only determine comparatively, you know, there can only be a loser if there's a winner, etc., and then saying that somebody that spends most of their time playing video games is an idiot or a moron. Last I checked, that's a complete non sequitur. If somebody has a genius level IQ, has a double PhD, and then just realized that they didn't want all of that. They just wanted to sit down and play video games. They wanted to enjoy their life. That person, by your definition, is a moron, even though they have more education than you, have accomplished more than you, and can definitely eclipse your intellect at least 10 times over, I'd assume.
trying to prove me wrong in the comments doesn't change that.
And simply asserting that you're right in a video doesn't make you right.
If you're absolutely content with where you are in your life, then hell yeah, play all the video games that you want. Watch all the anime that you want. Watch all the movies that you want. Some of you said, well, Damian, but you mentioned that you watch Netflix and movies and Walking Dead and stuff, and right now you're holding a fucking bat from a character in a TV series. I'm like, yes, but that's not what makes me successful, and I don't have anything in my life worth complaining for. I'm living the life, I'm traveling, I got money, and despite what some wanted to say and insinuate that I got no real friends and no women because of who I am and I only have them because of my money, that's not true, and you're an idiot if you think that.
Did you have all of those friends and women before you had money? No? Then you probably have them because of your money. And you're probably an idiot if you think otherwise. Give away all of your money today. Have nothing. And if any of them stick around, then they were real. But if they don't, then, well, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Also, by simply saying that if somebody is content, then they are allowed to then enjoy their life, at best, it sounds like it's another one of those issues where you have to special plead to make your case make any sense at all, and at worst, you're just being incredibly disingenuous by saying that people don't deserve to do things that make them happy if they also find themselves in unfortunate circumstances. Let's go back to the case of the person who's chair-bound and can't do anything else. There are several things that they could do to improve their situation, and by your logic, until they do those, they don't deserve to have leisure time. Oh, but you made a special case for that in your allocating time portion, and then you completely flip-flopped the argument. It seems to me that you've been shown so many counterpoints to your argument on Twitter that you've realized that you have to make a special case for it in each individual instance. Normally, I would applaud approaches like this because it means that you understand that your position has to have nuance. But here, I can tell that you're just using it as an excuse to be a douchebag. It's a way to move the goalpost depending on what somebody is saying to make it so that you always sound like you're correct. But you don't need to sound correct to me, you just need to sound correct to you.
I got friends and I got girlfriends even before I had money, so...
Really? Because in your little bio that you put for yourself, you said you had nothing when you had no money. You lived in a cockroach-infested apartment. I seriously doubt the veracity of your claim that you had several girlfriends at this point. It might be true, I just doubt it.
That's just pointless to say, but... You know, I've observed that losers are gonna say anything about winners just to justify being losers and not attempting to fix their shit.
You're not wrong here, at least. There are people who generally clamor and get incredibly jealous of the people who are more successful than them. It's a standard human trait. Some people can use this jealousy as a method of actually focusing their efforts and improving for it, whereas some people end up wallowing in this jealousy and not accomplishing anything. So I can at least grant you that you're right here. But this one good point was sandwiched between so much other crap that it's hard for me to even grant this to you.
Now, one last thing. I'm gonna end this video with this, because perhaps you might wake up after listening to that last point, and that's what I wanted to say from all the way from the beginning. So, if I'm really wrong in what I'm saying, that those who play video games are losers and those who watch anime are losers.
You are, but continue.
If I'm really wrong, then why do you even get triggered?
Says the guy who says that he has nothing to complain about in his life, but makes a video complaining about people who watch anime and play video games. We're the ones getting triggered when you're the one who says you have nothing to complain about, but you sit here during this entire video and complained?
I mean, if you told me with genuine conviction that, Damian, or world, you're a moron if you don't like taking it from behind, would I get fucking triggered? Hell no. I would just ignore you. Even if you truly believe that one who doesn't take it from behind is a loser and a weirdo, I would just ignore you because I don't care. I'm content with my life.
So what you've done here is you've set up a situation where if anybody violates your echo chamber, they're a moron. If they don't agree with you, then they should just ignore you. Otherwise, they're being incredibly sensitive and triggered. You know, you're 19 years old. You have grown up with the internet. You should be smart enough to know that that is not how the internet works. If you say something that people disagree with, they will be vocal about it. And if you say something stupid, then 20,000 people will dislike your video letting you know that it's stupid.
I'm happy with what I'm doing. So why are you getting triggered?
Because the thing that you're happy with doing is undermining everyone else's life and hobbies. And they're not getting triggered, they're just pointing out that you're being an idiot.
Perhaps. And I'm just saying, you're getting triggered because you know deep inside that what I'm saying is damn true and it hurts you so much.
This is the line of argumentation that somebody like Steven Anderson might use when they say that homosexuals need to be executed. If you get offended by what he's saying, which you rightly should, then it would then follow that the only reason that you're getting upset at what Pastor Anderson is saying is because you know deep inside that he's right. And you're getting angry because it hurts so much. Just like with Hovind and Ham, I wouldn't accept this line of reasoning from them, and I don't accept it from you. Maybe, just maybe, with all of that money that you have, you should enroll in a critical thinking course.
That you have to respond and prove me that I'm wrong. Now you might say this is bullshit, and I'm just making an argument. Why do you get triggered when I say that you play video games for an amount of time, you're a loser to a certain extent?
Why do you keep moving the goalposts on this? You started out by saying that everyone's losers, but if somebody challenges you, they're a loser to a certain extent. Or they're not a loser because they're already successful and they're successful despite playing video games, you know, completely ignoring the countless examples of people who are famous and successful because of playing them. Why do you keep using the logic of a young earth creationist and moving the goalpost every time you're wrong?
And when you say that if I don't take it from behind, I'm a loser, I don't get offended. So I'll leave it at that. And if you're smart enough and your video games haven't turned your brain into a giant mess with all that mental masturbation, you're gonna get the point.
Oh, I've got the point. This is the last thing you're saying in the video, but for some reason you've got another minute and a half of video left that I have to slodge through. The point is that you're now projecting and saying that other people are mentally masturbating when the only thing happening here is a circle jerk between you, yourself, and your left hand. And the people who respond to you are mentally masturbating when they're playing video games, then I guess people are mentally masturbating when they read, or when they sit down for a game of cards with friends. But this is all ignoring the fact that masturbation isn't even wrong, it's not something that's horrible, and there's several psychological benefits to it, so maybe you should be mentally masturbating more. Give your brain a workout.
And I'm not doing this to be a dick.
Yes, you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending so much time defending such a stupid position. You want to be a dick, and you don't want people to call you out for being a dick. You want to say that all that matters is that you're right, and it doesn't matter how you're right, you just want to be a dick. And since you're just being a dick, I don't need to subject my audience to you anymore. If they want to watch the rest of your video, they can go ahead and check in the description below. Speaking of my audience, if you guys think I'm wrong and you think that Damian here is right, let me know in the comment section below. I'll make sure to check my comments and respond to you while I'm playing video games. Insert end of video tagline here.